Come with me.
You have enough companions already. Let me know when you have space for me.
You should go to the camp in Idan.
Okay.
Follow me.
All right.
All right, show me the way.
It's not far from the city. Follow me. There is a vast amount of Elex flowing into the sea. It washes out of the cliffs and the ground, and it flows out across the planet. Elex is everywhere.
But you still think we need to find concentrations of it?
Yes, from the moment the comet struck, Elex has been seeping into everything on Magalan. That makes the background noise from it hard to read. If I'm to learn more, we must follow those mutants to find where the Elex is coming from. We know where we have to go. I'll follow you this time. I'm better at sensing Elex than any person I know. But there are mutants with the same ability. You should be careful in case the Elex deposit has attracted them.
You should think about leaving. I don't have any time right now. I'm watching you.
You don't know that either, whatever you say.
What is it you want?
Who are you?
You first. Come on. Who are you? There is something that is familiar about you, but I can't quite place it. No matter, I suppose. All people are welcome in Abessa, as long as they are prepared to forget their past. Even elves are allowed in here. I think elves would be perfect people if they weren't so emotionless. But then, that is why they are the only faction I have never belonged to.
What do you mean? You mean you want to become an elf?
That's a long story. If you're really interested in my tale, then I will tell you, of course.
I'd be happy to hear her story. Maybe there are lessons in it for us.
Tell me your story. How did you end up joining the clerics?
Right, I'll give you the full version. Well, the short version of the full version.
Just get on with it.
Okay, I'll try to keep it short. So, I grew up in Goliath in Adan. My father and mother were both born berserkers, and so that meant I was too. Back then, the Jar ruled over Goliath. As a child, I had no interest in the laws, of course. But when I was about 12 years old, one of the warlords came to our home. He took my parents, and I was left on my own to survive in the city. I remember him. I remember my parents leaving. And I remember me screaming. But everything else is gone. It's just a blur.
What happened to your parents?
Well, what else? They were exiled. Nobody ever told me why they were exiled. I still don't know what they did, even today. I hate the Berserker laws. Nothing against the Berserkers. They're just people. It's the laws I hate. I think what the Berserkers want to do with Magalan is right. But I can never forgive them for what they did to my parents. Why was I punished for whatever my parents did? Why wasn't I told what had happened? I swore never to return, and I haven't set foot in Idan again.
Where did you go?
Wherever I needed to survive. That meant running from reavers and wild animals. It didn't take long for some reavers to take me captive. And then, I don't want to talk about that. I was lucky, though. After several years, the reavers were attacked by some of the Duke's outlaws, and they took me back to Tavar. I learned how to fight, how to live off scrap. Life wasn't much different from Idan, but there wasn't the same raptor shit. The laws. You could be who you were, and no one judged you.
Then why didn't you remain with the outlaws?
Because the reavers who'd taken me captive came to the fort and wanted to speak to the Duke. I think they wanted to take me back. I fled when they saw me. I didn't want to be taken back, or for them to kill me to hide their crime. When I left the fort, I ran into a cleric patrol. They convinced me to go to the Hort with them. Not that I really needed that much convincing. All those hours taking scrap apart and putting it back together in Tavar really paid off there. The clerics recognized that I was good with technology. So, I've been working on mechs and AI systems since then. Building things, trusted, part of a team. And it's easier being with mechs. They don't judge anyone. They treat everyone the same. Like this place. I know it's not perfect, but outlaws, berserkers, clerics, even elves are seen as people. At least that's the vision. Not always the way it happens. That's another reason to maintain these mechs. To protect what we have here. Well, I hope you find your place in the world. It's good when you do.
What are you doing here in Abessa?
I take care of the mechs and drones here in the city, which means I coordinate and plan their maintenance and upgrades. When I'm lucky, I get to roll up my sleeves and do some of the actual maintenance, which I'm having to do quite a lot with all the technicians we're missing. Say, are you good with technology?
I know the basics.
Unfortunately, that wouldn't be enough, I'm afraid. We don't really have time to train people on the job. Not if they're not going to stay here for good. And you don't look the type for that. On the other hand, if you're looking for some part-time work, I could still use your help. I have 4 people I've been told I should look at for taking the technician's job, but I don't have time to gauge their abilities. Would that be something you could do for me? I'd pay you.
Yeah, I'll talk to your candidates.
Great. The 4 names I have are Daryl, Naira, Rorik, and Riley. Though I'm really not sure about Riley. There's something about him I don't trust. But speak to each of them and let me know whether you think they might have the right skills and abilities for the job. Oh, and I'll need you to let me know about their loyalties. You know, can they work with clerics? Do they hate us? We'd be trusting them with the mechs and AI that defend the Dome City. So I don't want to employ anyone who might still be thinking about their faction, not our security.
About the candidates for technician.
Yes?
Tell me about Naira.
Naira is an Elb separatist, so a bit of a long shot for loyalty. But she should have the technical ability we need. She's somewhere in the west of the city with the other separatists in the slums.
You want to employ a separatist as a technician?
We need someone, and I don't think your faction always says who you are. Elves are usually very good with technology, but you're right. I don't know if we can trust her.
Tell me about Daryl.
Daryl is an outlaw. He's applied to be a technician, but I don't know why. So I want to know his motives and what his technical experience is. I'm hoping you can get that information. If he's skilled and trustworthy, then employing him might show that we do trust outlaws here. But I don't know that much about him. I don't even know where to find him.
What do you know about Rorik?
Rorik is a berserker. I think I last saw him somewhere around Vito's pub. It might seem weird to consider a berserker, but I was one once. And I know Rorik used to work extracting Elex from machines in Goliath, so he knows about technology. And I think I could teach him everything else that he needs to know. And it would show that we were reaching out to the berserkers who have come to the Dome City. Their magic is very powerful, and they're strong warriors. We will need their help if the Albs attack us from Zakor. But it'll be important to find out if he's prepared to have anything to do with technology before we think of offering him the job.
Can you believe that? Really believe it?
If even half of that is true,
I'm staying out of it.
Am I crazy, or is our generator power fluctuating?
The B-Series was never very reliable, you know that.
Then why are we still working with that piece of crap?
Ask the technicians.
Parts, repair skills, blah blah. You never get the same answer from them twice.
Well, it's hard to get parts out here.
Don't tell me you're backing them up.
Well, there's not always an easy answer.
There's nothing shards and hard work can't solve if you really want to.
Yeah, if you say so.
Move along, civilian.
Yes? Is there something urgent? I have a lot to do, as you can imagine. This city does not run itself. So, please excuse me if I'm short with you. This city is made up of a whole mass of confusion. Everyone looking for a new start. No one able to forget their past. They need a leader to hold things together.
You're in charge here?
Well, let's say that I'm the person holding all these threads together. There's no ruler here, we all work together. Everyone here wants something. Whatever you're searching for, it will only add to the list of demands we already face. And providing for the people we already have is a logistical challenge. That means to accommodate everyone we're on strict rations, and those rations have to be earned.
I wouldn't have expected the clerics to care so much for others. You're doing good work here.
Some of our brothers turned away from our oath. They believed the Hort and Ignadon must come before anything else. But what is a cause without conviction?
How long have you been in charge of the Dome City?
I've been in office for 8 years now, and it hasn't been easy. Maintaining a neutral position to the factions while fighting the Albs. By Kalan, there really are more pleasant posts they could have appointed me to.
What if someone wanted to replace you?
Some have tried. Yet I am still here. This city was created by the great council of Magalan. They made the clerics custodians of this place and their legacy. The great council may be long gone, but what they stood for, a unity of purpose, a future for all of Magalan together, that is something we still believe in here. So, it is our job to remain neutral. It is our job to serve all, no matter their background, however hard our residents make it for us.
Are you having a lot of trouble here in the city?
Keeping the factions together is always an issue. The outlaws are always up to something, but things have gotten worse, and to cap it all, we've had a sharp rise in thefts. I believe an organized group has started operating here. Not the usual outlaws. This group seems to be outside the factions. From the little I've heard, they're more like a secret society than your regular set of theft-mongers. I've offered a large bounty for any information that leads to their capture, and capture would be best. I want to find out who their connections are. If you can find out more about their secret society, I can make you rich.
Listen, the council is gone. Why care about what they said?
You don't think that was a better time? Laws for prisoner exchange that assured borders, set rules for trade? Even if you don't care about the blood spilled since the council's rule was broken, the clerics swore to a code, and that includes keeping our oaths. And an oath was sworn to the council by my forefathers. That makes it my duty to see that oath is kept.
How are things here in the Dome City?
Tense. The battles out there are always reflected in here. Tensions run high if the outlaws attack the clerics, or the clerics attack the berserkers. And there's always the fear of an alb invasion. Those tensions drive greed, anger, and fear. There is war out there, and here your shards will be stolen from your hand if you aren't careful. It's like the world has gone crazy.
Why have things become so bad?
That's a whole host of reasons. Maybe it would help you if I tell you how things are. The berserkers have lived more and more reclusively ever since the pilgrim went into his retreat. The outlaws are more organized now the Duke has taken power, and the Alb separatists seek shelter with us to escape the powers in Zakor. All told, very dark signs that we'd face another global catastrophe. And here we are, in the middle.
Is there something I can help you with?
If you want to help, there is something that has to be taken care of quickly. You must have noticed that the mood is very heated here. One more issue, one wobble, and everything we've held together here will fall to pieces. One of my people has reported that the outlaws are expecting a weapons delivery. The last thing that this city needs is more weapons. And who knows who the outlaws will sell them to. I want you to intercept this delivery and bring it to me.
About the outlaws' weapons delivery. You've been using informers to try and catch them?
Of course. Information is key to keeping the peace. But there are always things you miss. And missing things leads to nasty surprises. And I'd rather be the one dealing those out than receiving them. Particularly when it comes to outlaws. Are you going to show me that you are the exception?
I'll take care of that problem for you.
Good. Very well then. Your target is a woman. Her name is Paige. Get her talking and hope that she brings you in on her plan. Take these shards. You may need them to buy yourself some trust. You'll have to find Paige yourself. She's a slippery customer, and we've lost track of her.
Contact? Is there something I should know about her?
Apart from the fact that she's one of the outlaws, no. As soon as you get those weapons, or any information, just make sure you bring them to me.
I'm sorry. Unless this is official business, you should move on.
Just a moment, I have to concentrate. 43 degrees eastwards at a distance of 5 kilometers. Maybe I could adjust the receiver's sensitivity to... No. Although,
Should I come back later?
No. I've already lost my train of thought. I suppose I will have to just get used to continuous interruptions here. But crap. I don't suppose you can remember what I said. How many degrees was it?
43 degrees eastwards.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Thank you for reminding me.
I assume you are in charge of communications?
You aren't just a good listener, you're good at observation, too. Yes, I am responsible for communications, though the condition of this equipment is wretched. It would be easier to stay in contact with 2 tin cans and a piece of string. I can't keep track of how often we have power outages or equipment failures these days, but I have really given you enough of my time now. I do have to work out a solution to this issue. If you feel the need to talk to someone, go and try Vito. Innkeepers are known for their chatter.
Where can I find Vito?
Look around out for the rat hole of a dive serving alcohol. There are 2 things Vito lives for: alcohol and conversation. Well, that and the shards to pay for them. I digress. Go now and seek him out and leave me to my thinking.
That was great.
The threat from the north, the curse of the Alps must be eliminated. We must all choose sides in the battles to come. Make sure you choose the side that counts. Join the clerics today. This is Herbert coming to you from the orbit. Creatures, twisting them into new, unnatural. If feeling sensitive to animals, can you imagine what it will do to you? Look after your DNA. Stay safe from mutations. Stay away from the Elex. This is me, Herbert, broadcasting from the to bring a warning to you.
You should heal those wounds. Stop that thief! Stop him!
The impressive defensive towers were completed in the early phases of the castle's construction, and were to play a vital part in preventing the castle from being taken. The arrival of gunpowder, however, heralded an end to the age of castles, and what was a stronghold against an attack instead evolved into a stately home, luxurious and welcoming to its residents.
What are you doing here?
Why are you in here?
Well, well.
How do we move on from here?
Yes, I'd heard things were rough there, too.
What an ass. He should have known that.
Hey, you!
Let me guess. I'm not allowed into the upper quarter?
What? No, everyone's allowed to move about freely here. I just have a question for you. You got here recently, right? I just want to know what things are like outside the dome. What's going on out there? Are the Alps attacking?
Why do you ask?
I'm interested. We're cut off here under the dome, safe from the world outside. So they pass us by like a river around a rock. Kalan gave us the knowledge, and now look what we've achieved. A safe harbor for all people. The clerics and Ignidons say we've strayed. I say we've found the true path.
What are you doing outside Ignidon?
Kalan teaches that every pure spirit will find salvation in Kalan's arms someday. He will find us wherever we are. So, when the Great Council chose us to serve here as guardians, the clerics did their duty. Now, we stay to show that a cleric's oath is strong, and so that we can demonstrate Kalan's grace to those who are yet to find it. So, here we stay, to help the lost free themselves from chems, from Elex, from the Alps. Everyone is welcome in the domed city. Everyone is safe here. My name is Eric, by the way. Chief engineer here in the dome. I'm in charge of all the generators and technicians who oversee them.
Can this dome survive an Alb attack?
Of course. Why do you think we built it? As long as we can maintain a constant energy flow, then they can't get in. Unfortunately, achieving that isn't so easy. Some of the energy regulators are starting to malfunction again.
The impressive defensive towers were completed in the early phases of the castle's construction.
You should heal those wounds.
Is that so?
Hey, you!
The impressive defensive towers were completed in the early phases of the castle.
You should heal those wounds.
Yes, you can't say that, but we need more food first.
Hey, you!
Let me guess. I'm not allowed.
What?
There are raids, but there have been no major assaults recently.
I'm sure that's just the calm before the storm. I just hope the dome holds. There's a lot of people depending on this dome of mine, so they pass us by like a river around a rock. Kalan gave us the knowledge, and now look what we've achieved. A safe harbor for all people. The clerics and Ignidons say we've strayed. I say we've found the true path.
You built the dome?
I designed the plans for it. Then we built it together. My name is Eric, by the way. Chief Engineer.
Can this dome survive an Alb attack?
Of course. Why do you think we built it? As long as we can maintain a constant energy flow, then they can't get in. Unfortunately, achieving that isn't so easy. Some of the energy regulators are starting to malfunction again.
I can repair the energy regulators for you.
Thanks for the offer, but that's not necessary. I've already repaired the components. They just haven't all been installed yet.
Why don't the clerics have a dome like this in Igniton?
The dome requires immense amounts of energy, and the fluctuations in it have to be constantly balanced. The technology is complex. That means there's no way to cover the Hort with a shield like this. Besides, the cliffs around Hort give it a natural protection.
About the broken energy regulators. How many energy regulators are broken?
Well, all of them. I've sorted replacements where I can. But Lutz hasn't received his yet.
What will happen if they aren't repaired?
If just one regulator fails, it could mean an emergency shutdown for the dome. Otherwise, the discharge it would create could kill a whole lot of the people the shield is supposed to be protecting. But whether it's a discharge or an emergency shutdown, both scenarios would see us defenseless.
I will help you with the energy regulators.
I'd wanted to do it myself, but do you really think you could handle it? So, let's find out who you are. You should go to Igniton one day. You could be a good cleric. Yeah, I know I left Igniton behind, but they could offer you better training than I could. I have the energy regulator here. Please, take it to Lutz and help him to install it. Come back to me when you're done.
How do we move on from here?
I've never trusted her.
Hey, have you got a few shards for a veteran? Help me out and I'll tell you about the city.
Give him the shards. He really needs them, and we could do with some information.
There, take this.
Thanks. Thank you. Oh, I won't forget this. And since you have helped me, I'll make sure my contacts hear about it. You help me, I'll help you. Come back in a few days, yeah? I'll have something that might interest you.
Tell me about the city.
Right, well, where to start? First off, a lot of people are avoiding the north of the city. This place always has something going on, but right now, there's really something brewing. That means the north isn't exactly welcoming unless you're a thug. The western section's safer. You're okay there as long as you don't break the law or look funny or say something the clerics don't like. The southern part, well, that is really quiet. Nothing really happens there, but wherever you are, you should know the clerics are watching. Alois, he runs this place and he hates thieves and beggars and trouble causers and pretty much anyone. He thinks he's God's messenger or something, and that means he's got one big old stick up his ass. So don't piss him off. If you ignore anything else, don't ignore that advice. Don't piss off the clerics. There now, you are fully informed.
Hey you, I heard you speaking to Eric. He gave you an energy regulator for the dome, right? Give it to me, will you? Very soon now, you're going to need the right sort of friend, and giving that to me will earn you that.
Why do you want the regulator?
Haven't you noticed the tension here? All the anger and the plotting? It scares the hell out of me. So I want a way out of here if things go wrong. A sort of backdoor. I want to modify the regulator so I can drop a section of the dome and get out if things go bad. Let me modify it. Then I'll give it back to you so you can get it to where it needs to be. You've got to see why I'd want a way out, yeah? So do we have a deal?
What's in it for me if I help you?
Profit is profit. I respect that attitude. What do you think about 100 shards?
I won't give you the regulator.
then you've blown your chance. And don't come back to me and ask for help when no one will let you out of here.
Let's trade.
Okay.
Let's trade.
Okay.
He has been chewing on that thing for days.
I'll catch up with you again later.
Another time, yeah?
I saw you.
You saw me what?
I saw how you came through into the dome. Who are you? Why were you allowed in?
I was an alb once.
Fuck. What is this, an invasion? Can't you all just go back to Zakor? What do you have to keep coming here for? Well, you'll find more of your kind back there in the city. But you can go and do whatever it is you Albs do together. But don't get used to it. None of you will be staying long. But before you go, you better tell me what you want here, Alb.
Who are you?
Caleb. I lead the Berserkers who've chosen to settle here in Abessa.
You are separate from the Berserkers in Idan?
We have kept our beliefs, but left behind the laws. We have set our own rules here. Well, none of us are allowed to return to Idan now. Or we just end up being sent to the valley. As to why they came here, well, the first settlers were sent to Abessa to plant a world heart to expand the forest of Idan out here. But they were cut off from Edan by the Alps, left on their own to survive. And after a while, they decided to keep it that way. The warlords in Goliath weren't happy. But they're stretched too thin for another conflict, so here we are. And since they settled here, others have joined us. Some are escaped exiles, others just chose to leave Edan.
What do you have against the Separatists?
We came here for peace, to escape the war. How long will that last if more Alps keep coming here? Zakor's left us alone recently. You think they will if they know all their escapees are coming here? Edan? Ignadon? Fuck it, even Tavar. At some point, if they learn that Albs are sheltering here, then they might attack us even if Zakor doesn't. And you can tell me whatever you want about us having the same goals, or the same enemy. But you really expect me to believe you Albs are going to choose us over other Albs? I don't care that people vote to let you in. If it was up to me, we would be better off if you lot were thrown out of the city.
You want to have all the Separatists thrown out of the city?
Yeah. And you know what? I have already started to make it happen. It's easy to find ways to show you people have broken the rules of our agreement. But hey, I have a way you can avoid the same fate. You could do us a service here. You could prove your humanity. Are you prepared to do that? Do you think you're even able?
What do you want from me?
I need help with the Alps. We have an eyewitness who claims to have seen the Separatists exchanging information with the Alps. Traitorous bastards.
Who is this eyewitness?
The Berserker Jorg saw Fenk meet with an Alb in front of the city. Why would they meet if it wasn't to exchange information about the dome? Sadly, Jorg is the only one who's seen Fenk. And now he started saying he isn't sure he really saw Fenk meet an Alb from Zakor. So I have to jog Jorg's memory, or make sure he stops denying what he said. There has to be a way to do that.
You don't think that Jorg could have been wrong in the first place?
No, never. You can't trust these Separatists. They'll betray us sooner or later for sure. I'm telling you, this is just the beginning.
I can make sure Jorg stops denying his story.
You can? Do you think you can make Jorg stick to his original story? It's for the good of the city. So how about you go to Jorg and present yourself as an Alb? Encourage him to believe that he saw what he saw. It can never be said again that the Albs might be innocent.
Hey, you're new here in the city, right?
Yes, I've just arrived.
I thought so. I saw you come through the gate, you see? Anyway, I want to ask you something, if that's alright. Have you been to Edan recently? To the Berserker's city of Goliath, to be exact. A good friend of mine is still there.
If you're that interested, then why don't you go back and see him yourself?
I can't. Not overtly, anyway. I broke the law, you see. Like some of the other Berserkers here, it was either run here or go into exile for me. So, here I am. But I miss my good friend Kral. I'd hoped he'd come and join me here, but he won't leave Goliath. He thought he still had a chance to save his brother, Grimmar, from the Alb Converter. Do you know what happened to him?
Kral is dead.
No. Shit. Maybe if I'd stayed... You know, I was even planning how I could get to Goliath to see if I could get him out of there. I had this feeling something bad would happen to him. First his brother and then him. A curse on all of Edan. And thanks anyways.
Tell me about your life in Edan.
Me? I was a worker at the pit. You know, I extracted Elex from old machines so it could be transmuted into mana. I always wanted to join the Hooded Crows and learn the art of magic, but it wasn't to be. My parents forbade me from trying. My clan told me to stop trying. Not that any of that stopped me. And that's what got me banished. I stole mana from the shrine to try and learn magic myself. And I got myself caught. They sentenced me to exile in the Valley of the Damned, but I escaped. I'd seen the Domed City when I was sent on patrol, so when I left Edan, this was the place I thought of. And here I am.
I would like to learn Berserker magic.
Well, it's pointless asking me. I didn't manage to learn anything useful before I was exiled. You would have to join the Berserkers. They won't teach their magic to outsiders. But I don't know if I can recommend that in all good conscience. I left, after all. You will have to decide who you want to join.
Vivian sent me.
Is it about the technician job for the clerics?
Yes.
I'm interested, but I'm not sure that this is the job for me. I mean, I've not had much to do with technology. I've tried to learn since I came to Abessa, but I'm still only just starting out.
What experience do you have with technology?
Well, back in Goliath, I used to take machines apart. There aren't many I've not seen from the inside. Strange, really. My job used to be to get rid of technology, but now all I want to do is put it back together. The clerics make some incredible things. I mean, just look at the dome. That's an amazing feat of engineering.
So, now you've left Edan. What do you think about the clerics?
I'm grateful they let me in. They don't bother me, and I don't bother them. I'm not a berserker anymore. I live here.
If you get orders you don't like, will you run away from here like you did from Edan?
I don't know. But the clerics don't ban some people from doing some things and not others. If I want to learn about technology, they'll let me. They're the same with everyone.
I've heard enough.
Okay. Right. I'll see you then.
Vivian sent me about the technician job.
I am without question the best candidate they will find. Therefore, selecting me is the logical choice. But I need proof that the clerics are really willing to work with me. If I am to work for the clerics, then I would like to be paid. The free people seem to value shards above all things, and so payment would be proof that they take me seriously.
What are your qualifications for this job?
I served as the battlefield technician for my unit in Zakor. I have already discovered errors in the AI systems of the clerics' mechs, and I would be able to modify them. Even the dome isn't running as efficiently as it could. That is another thing I could improve.
Do you think you can work with the clerics?
I think it would be better if this city was led by an alb or a machine. But I understand that it isn't up to me to determine this. So yes, I could imagine working with them in the existing circumstances, despite their inefficiencies.
Teach me something.
Of course.
We need to sort things out with those traders and get more supplies in. Hi. Heard that.